So an interesting point also is that I was talking about this, the rivalry between Béchamp and Pasteur. Actually, on his deathbed, Louis Pasteur said that Béchamp was right. The environment is everything. So here you have then is creating the environment that then is conducive to health. But then if we then look at something very serious, like for instance cancer, obviously is a very serious disease. So instead of just looking at the cancer in itself, you wanted to then look at the terrain that it's growing in. Yeah, what kind of terrain are we dealing with? Obviously we have genetics, and we can't fight that. But genetics, what they've seen, usually only counts for about 5 to 10%. So we're dealing then also with other factors like inflammation, acidity. Also, we're dealing also with whether there's enough oxygen within the tissue, because when a tissue or the cell becomes hypoxic, where it doesn't have enough oxygen, it will then turn into another way of producing energy, where it's actually fermenting sugar in order to be able to produce energy. Also, when you're dealing with cancer, another part of looking at the terrain is something is called then the hypoglycemia. Whether, where are your blood sugar levels? What they've found is that if your blood sugar levels are continually elevated or your insulin levels are continually elevated, you are then more prone to developing cancer, and that will then feed that cancerous process. Also, another factor is your BMI. The higher your BMI is, the more you're more prone to developing cancer. And if you're then somebody that are dealing with cancer, then these are factors that you control. These are things that you can change when you are then given that sentence, you have cancer. You can then work on correcting your BMI. You can then work on reducing the blood sugar level within your system. You can work on reducing the acidity by then eating food that are very, very alkaline. And there you have all the different vegetables, fruits that have a huge amount of minerals that will make you alkaline. And also you can then work on your exercise and obviously your diet, like I was talking about. Exercise will then, they've seen that if you are active and keep moving all the time, then your chance of recovery from cancer is much, much higher. Another factor is stress. And that stress can be your daily life stress, but it can also be stress that's stemming from earlier events in your life. And these are programs, belief systems that may be kind of running behind the scene and can then actually support the growth of a systemic disease such as cancer, because cancer is a systemic disease. It is not just at one location, it is throughout the whole body. And that is why it's so important to look at the environment that it grows in. You can't just, let's say you have cancer of the liver and you remove the cancer and then think that the cancer is gone. It's just like if you would have diabetes and all of a sudden you have neuropathy in your leg and it starts, your circulation is down and you have issues with the leg and it gets infectious and you get to a point where you actually need to amputate the leg. Just by cutting off the leg or amputating the leg, it didn't cure your diabetes, and it is exactly the same with cancer. And the environment that cancer grows in is then a toxic body that is malnourished, and you have a lot of emotional factors that you want to be looking in. So it's that emotional environment. What kind of traumas are you carrying? What kind of belief systems are promoting this cancer's growth? And then also you want to check at the genetics. But as I mentioned, it is such a small amount, a small part of this growth of cancer. And I'm just using cancer as an example because we can be talking about any kind of disease. It's all about the environment that it grows in, that it exists within. And correcting that environment, taking these productive steps and changing that, instead of just focusing just on being myopic and just focusing on the disease in itself, you want to see what is the environment that we're dealing with. We'll be right back.